Hey everyone, James here and welcome to Shard TCG, and today we're doing a speculative video on Lycanites Mobs and the future of what may come to Lycanites Mobs based from what we can see from Shard TCG. So if that doesn't make sense, don't worry, it'll all make sense soon enough. So what I'm just going to dive into here is I've got 4 Shard TCG cards here that we have taken from Lycanites Mobs. For those of you who don't know, Shard TCG is actually based off of Lycanites Mobs, which is a Minecraft mod. And they have some popular ones like the Yeti, which I think has been renamed the Bobeko. I'll be putting these up on the screen now. We have the Ignibus, like the big fiery classic red dragon, very European style. We've got things like the rock insect, the Gorgamite that multiplies when you hit it in Lycanites Mobs. And we've got elementals, which are purely like magic based creatures of that element. They're the embodiment of all the elements. So this one I'm using as an example is the arcane element. Now the reason I thought up this video is because Lycanite has taken a couple of my ideas, or ideas that we have worked on together, and incorporated them into Lycanites Mobs after they've came out in Shard TCG. So it isn't just all one way. It isn't just that they are made in Lycanites Mobs and then we add them to Shard TCG. There is a back and forth a little bit. So a couple of examples of that are these guys right here. Okay, we've got the neck and we've got the Pixid, which are 2 of the imp creatures that were originally designed in Shard TCG that Lycanite added to Lycanites Mobs in Minecraft. So because of that, I thought it would be fun to have a bit of a speculation on what other Shard TCG cards that Lycanite would like to incorporate into Minecraft and how he would do that in some ways. Of course, right now he is currently rebuilding the whole Lycanites Mobs mod into a whole new schism, like modular multi-mod thing where it incorporates like gods and tools and lots of other things, as well as the mobs. Okay, so the first shard card that I'm going to show today is one that I really want, but I don't think Lycanite is in too much of a rush to add this to his Lycanites Mobs. And that is the Steinbarus. Okay, so we've got the Steinbarus card, and a lot of people know, if you've watched my videos, I absolutely love the Steinbarus. I think this would look great in Minecraft, and I'm not really sure exactly what it would do, but he does definitely want to add golems. I'm just not sure if this will be the first golem. Though now that I've said it in the video, he might actually go ahead and do it. Just for disclosure as well, I did tell Lycanite that I was doing this video and I didn't want him to give me any hints on what he is planning for the future. I was basing this purely off what he has told me in the past. This one I think is a little bit of a strong one, but still an outsider. It's the Kayakis. We've got this aberration. Now, I know he has used the Kayakis in his role-playing games and things like that on these Lycanites Mobs Discord. So he definitely has a preference to it. So I think that is a small hint that maybe that will be one of the earlier ones to be ported from Shard TCG over to Lycanites Mobs. Or Schism, however you want to refer to it. I'm going to say Lycanites Mobs just to save confusion because it is still known as Lycanites Mobs right now. The next one, I think this is a very strong one, and I'll tell you why. Right, so we've got the Nerubi. Now I know Richard really likes the Nerubi, and the mechanic behind the Nerubi is it is an acid insect, but it's like a glowing acid, so it's more of like a firefly type thing. Now imagine this creature in Lycanites Mobs. You're walking around in Minecraft in a mid-size insect that just stalks you up a height where you can't reach it, and all it's doing is stalking you. And it's just emitting this light that is allowing other creatures to know your location. That is definitely Lycanite's strategy, I can tell you. He loves to troll, and if he can make a creature that does nothing but follows you around and is essentially giving off a signal to say, hey guys, over here, come and get him, he's over here, that is exactly what Lycanite is going to do. And I bet you That's what he's got planned for the Nerubi. The Nerubi is going to stalk you, emit a light, and it's going to attract maybe just insect types, but I have a feeling all sorts of other beasties that want to hurt you. So yeah, thanks for that, Lycanite. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Alright, and the next one up we have the Micanid. Now, I can say this with a bit more certainty that he does want to add the Micanid to Lycanites Mobs. When we were first adding it to Shard, he always said, I'm adding this to Lycanites Mobs. This is going to be in Lycanites Mobs. So this is a definite one. And I can see this just being like obviously a cave dwelling plant. So it's a little bit different from the other plant creatures that he's made. Just to have something that just lurks in the cave and lashes out. It's probably just territorial. Probably doesn't really come out of the cave, but something to occupy that biome. And of course, it'll probably be good for harvesting mushrooms. So when you're playing Minecraft and you need those type of mushrooms, at least you've got a creature that you can go and kill that will be a good source of that. Okay, next one up, and I've conceptualized this one as well with Lycanite. Whether he takes the idea or not, I don't know. He might have his own ideas, of course. I'm sure he's got plenty of them. The ideas are a dime a dozen. But we've got the Carcarian, which will be another crab one that you can add to the Herma, which already exists in Lycanites Mobs. Now, the Carcarian, being an order crab, always likes to have like a sense of balance. And what I suggested for Lycanites Mobs is perhaps the Carcarian would be a defender of the one being attacked. So if he is able to code that in, essentially the Carcarian, when witnessing a fight, would side with the one that was attacked first. So if you randomly get jumped by a Chupacabra, let's say, the Carcarian will come in and aid you in the fight. If you decide to attack something more peaceful like a Yale, and the Carcarian witnessed that, the Carcarian will come in to defend the Yale, because the Carcarian could be the protector of the one being attacked. So I thought that would be a fun concept. So the Carcarian is essentially a neutral, but is the aggressor when you are the aggressor, if you know what I mean. So I thought that was a fun idea. Of course, you guys might have some better ideas, and if you pop them in the comment section below, I'm sure Lycanite will be around to check them out. You know, it's good to have people to bounce off, because that's how good ideas are born, you know. As for the next one, I definitely think this one's going to get added. It is the Craxid. No points for anybody who guessed that before it came up. If people know Lycanite, they know that he absolutely loves the Craxid design. The little chaos lizard that could. It just loves to roll around and do things. I'm not really sure what this would do in Minecraft, but it would definitely be rolling around. I know he likes that. He likes the idea of it just rolling around. But its purpose, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what purpose it would serve in Minecraft, whether it would be farmable or tameable or what, but I'm sure it would be a great addition any which way. Okay, so we've revealed 5 so far, and I have 1, 2, 3 more to go, except one is a 2-parter. You may guess that's an amphibian, and you'll see why. Actually, let's hop onto it straight away. So the next one I'm going to show is the Ranotetra tadpole. And the reason that is a 2-parter is because when the Ranotetra tadpole grows up, he becomes a Ranotetra, which is a fun, reasonably strong void frog. Now, I know Lycanite really likes this design as well, and I can really see him adding this to Lycanites Mobs. What this one would do in Lycanites Mobs, I'm not as sure. As for, I don't think he has too many void creatures in. The only one I can really think of right now is the elemental itself. But I know it's definitely something he wants to expand on. So the Ranotetra, we could definitely be seeing in the future for Lycanites Mobs. Now, in Shard TCG, the Ranotetra does get stronger when it is summoned and something is banished during its summon, and it makes it stronger. So I suppose the Ranotetra, when it would destroy something, it would then be banished to the void, and the Ranotetra could get stronger. But then that sounds like a scary compounding effect, and you might end up with this, maybe it grows and it becomes this huge, terrifying Ranotetra. So you can see lots of maybe small Ranotetras that are just newly spawned, and then you have these huge Ranotetras that have been there a few days and they've just got out of hand, if you know what I mean. So there's an idea to work with as well, but I'm not sure what Lycanite will go with for that. Right, and we're into the final two now. Now, this one I know he is going to add. How he's going to add it, I'm not so sure, but I'm just going to show you anyway. It's the classic Mimic. Now, what I conceptualized for the Mimic, and I think he was tempted to go with this, was creating the creature, but instead of mimicking blocks or chests, you know, like the classic chest design, which is made popular by Wizards of the Coast, you could have it turn into items. So say the Mimic was next to a cow, it would turn itself into some raw meat just bobbing there. So when people come along, they see a cow, they see some raw meat, and they go, oh, there must have been a couple of cows here. There's some raw meat for me to pick up. So, because one must have died, of course. And as you go to pick it up, of course, the Mimic has tempted you by being an item instead of a block. Because a lot of people, they think about the Mimics mimicking blocks. But I think floating bobbing items would be more tempting, because what do you naturally do? You go over to pick up the item, don't you? And a Mimic wants you to get close so they can get you. So that was my idea. I ran past Lycanite. Whether he goes ahead with that, I'm not 100% sure, but it's an idea. It's an idea. I'm throwing it out there. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I've got one more card to show. I just want to say thank you very much anyway, and of course, if you haven't already, if you could like this video, if you've enjoyed the content, that would mean the world to me. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you're new, if you want to see more content like this. You know, this one's a little bit different, but explore the channel, see what's there, see if it's a good fit for you. Okay, so the final card I think that Lycanite may add from Shard TCG to Lycanites Mobs is the Cogmuska. I think it's a fun design. He's enjoyed using it. He's enjoyed using it because of the effect. It's a little bit scarab-like, the Cogmuska, and I know Lycanite has a weakness for those Egyptian-themed type cards. That's why he absolutely loves the Carcarian as well. He's a little bit Egyptian. He always called him the Egyptian crab because he's just those little gilded bits on him. Now, with the Cogmuska being a little bit scarab-like, I think he will go for it. And what I could see the Cogmuska maybe doing, because it is an ether type, it is all based around knowledge in the mind and things like that. So with the Cogmuska, and what I think would be a fun way to add it to Lycanites Mobs would be to make it a farmable creature, essentially. Now, when I say that, I mean when we find a Cogmuska in the wild, we could have some way of taming it, of course. And then when we take it back, we provide it with raw wood. And then perhaps from that, the Cogmuska converts the wood to books or something like that. So it is converting like wood into knowledge, essentially. Because with the Cogmuska being an ether type, it is based around the mind and it is about knowledge. And its effect is, of course, demise of knowledge. It is very... This creature is very knowledge based, and I think to do something with books might be a fun way of doing it. Perhaps the Cogmuska is placed next to the enchanting tables, and perhaps it boosts the enchanting tables instead of needing the bookcases. That's another way of doing it. I think there's a few ways you can go down the Cogmuska route using ether to enhance either enchanting or being a replacement for books or generating books. You know, there's a lot you can do there with a Cogmuska. If you've got other ideas, something similar to that, I would love to hear them, because I think there's a fun concept. There's a fun concept there that can be added to Lycanites Mobs and your Minecraft experience, which I think will be a lot of fun. But yes, these are all the shard cards that I've shown today that I think may be added to Lycanites Mobs in the future. I would love to see if you guys have some other preferences or other reasons why other mobs may be added. Especially if you've got some good farming ideas or fighting techniques to why they would go well in a Minecraft situation. But that's all I have for you today anyway. Thank you so much if you've watched this to the end of the video. I appreciate it so much, and I hope to see you guys next time. Okay guys, goodbye.